Hey guys, it's HoppingHammy and welcome to Sprocket's red mushroom themed cage tour. I have been very excited to share today's video with you as this setup has been in the works for quite a while and it's something I've always wanted to put together, so let's get started. Okay, the main star of the show here is definitely the white Carefresh bedding, which I will talk more about in just a minute, but I wanted to first mention a bit about this tank for those who might be new here. This tank is 96 inches long, 13 inches wide, and 24 inches tall. It was made by combining two 55-gallon aquariums together to form one big tank. I'm using this as a second play area for my Syrian hamster Sprocket because he is very active at night and I wanted to give him more space to explore. Because this is not his main home and he lives in a larger DIY cage below, you won't see a wheel or a water bottle in today's setup. Now, in order to give Sprocket this tank, I had to make it accessible for him to get to, so I am incorporating these ovo tubes to connect his two enclosures together. It took me a long time to come up with a tube design that was structurally stable, secure, and also manageable for Sprocket to use, so with this design there are no long vertical climbs or drops, and most of the tubes stay at a slope for him to easily manage. He can also turn around inside the tube if he decides to change direction, which I've seen him do many times already because he is a smaller Syrian hamster and these tubes are large enough for him to do so. I'm not necessarily encouraging others to incorporate tubes unless you have a specific reason to, because they aren't without risks. However, in this situation, I think the reward outweighs the risk factor. Okay, so let's start on the cage tour now. This first area here has a section of loose coconut fiber which Sprocket seems to enjoy digging around in, so I wanted to give him some more of this since he's been enjoying it in his DIY cage. There are also two cute ceramic mushrooms which I have secured down so they won't get knocked over or bang around on the glass. I'm going to explain a bunch of the safety precautions I've taken in this setup in my next video, but I did want to mention that in case anyone was wondering. For a hideout house, there is this ceramic box which I recently found at a thrift store for about $2, and I have no idea what it's supposed to be, but it has two openings and I figured Sprocket would love hiding in here to groom himself, which he did exactly that. On top of it, I have a moss sheet which is spread out, and then there is this small piece of cork and a tiny ceramic froggy, which some of you guys may remember from Kashi's rainforest theme. I just had to incorporate him into this setup too. I think we should name him Fred. Fred the Frog. Moving on to the next section of the tank now, this is where we switch over to using white Carefresh bedding, which matches perfectly with the red and white mushroom theme. And I'm very happy and grateful to announce Carefresh as being the sponsor of today's video. When Carefresh reached out to me recently, I was pretty excited and already knew that their bedding would be perfect to use for Sprocket's second tank, because of how soft it is and because of my previous good experiences with it. I've incorporated Carefresh many times in past setups and continue to remain a big fan and supporter of this bedding. It's great for burrowing and making tunnels, and it holds a tunnel very well, which I'll show you a little tunnel I created later on. Now, if white isn't your thing, they do have a variety of other fun colors and oftentimes will come out with special edition colors that are available for a limited period of time. The last thing I will mention as a positive about Carefresh is the fact they regularly give back to the pet community by donating free bedding to nominated rescues and shelters. so they are a company I am happy to stand behind and promote their products. So thank you Carefresh for sending me this bedding to use for Sprocket's tank, and I have some left over too, which will be added into his DIY cage for even more burrowing opportunities. Alright, let's get back to the cage tour now. Picking up where we left off, this part of the tank has a hanging mushroom which I've stuffed with a piece of moss so Sprocket can climb on to sit and have a little lookout. He seems to really enjoy doing that sort of thing. Below the mushroom are some wood stumps as a pathway and a bunch of millet and wheat sprays. This piece of grapevine driftwood has a little tunnel that I made, so Sprocket has the option to either go underneath it or to crawl over the top. And you'll also notice all of the cute details such as the tiny wood mushrooms and crepe paper flowers, which I totally stole from his Holland theme so I wouldn't have to make new ones because they kind of take a little while to make. Alright, so now we're going to move down to the middle section of the tank, which is probably my favorite area as it's so colorful and there's a lot to explore and do. First of all, there is this glass container which is tipped on its side so Sprocket can go in and have a sand bath. I'm using children's play sand from Home Depot for this, and it's very clean sand. Now, I do have this container sitting on top of a wood platform, and that way if Sprocket digs around in the surrounding area, the container won't fall or crush him. This is very important to do when using heavy items. You'll also notice more cute mushroom decor as well as a variety of dried flowers and sprays. So here is the little hidden tunnel I told you about earlier, and you can see the Carefresh bedding holds shape very well. So this goes underneath this wooden platform, which is also sitting on top of something to prevent it from falling if Sprocket digs underneath. Inside of this wood box is a flower forage mixture which contains Timothy grass and a few different types of dried flowers. There are also some dried sunflower heads and a cute welcome sign attached to the front of the box along with 2 more tiny mushrooms. I love all of these pretty details and they truly make a cage theme come to life. Leading out of the box is a wooden bendy bridge ramp, and this goes into the main area of Carefresh bedding for Sprocket to burrow in. Now, I really wanted to put even deeper bedding in here, but because I don't have a lid on this tank currently and Sprocket is a really good climber, I decided to lean more on the side of caution and go with slightly less bedding. However, my husband and I are now talking about building a tank lid in the near future, so whenever that happens, I will be able to add much more bedding in this section without any concerns of Sprocket climbing out. This final section of the tank has a cardboard box with a beautiful mushroom print on it, which Sprocket can use as a hideout if he chooses to. I glued a cardboard divider with a hole in it using the Night Angel Chamber Maze hideout as inspiration, and this is what it looks like from the underneath side. He has 2 sections, one he can sleep in and the other he can store food or pee if he wishes. There's also this wood tunnel leading out of it, and a ceramic mushroom dish on top of the box, which is supposed to be a spoon rest, I think, but I'm going to use it to put fresh food or little treats in. So that wraps up today's cage tour, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it and got some new inspiration. Thank you again, Carefresh, for making this setup and cage theme possible for me, and Sprocket says thank you for the soft bedding to burrow in. So you guys all take care, and I will see you in my next video, which, as I said, will be going through this tank and showing you all of these safety precautions I've taken with making sure everything would be safe for Sprocket. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Bye!